Thank you, Carol. And we'll go on to our next question, and that will begin with Casey. The question is from the audience and also ties in with one of the other questions that we had put together before. The audience person says, if it were not for oil, would we have a budget surplus? Aren't we putting too much dependence on $100 per barrel oil? And I think we can combine that with a little bit of discussion on what do you think North Dakota needs to do to make our state a leader in energy development of all types of energy.
All right.
Did I give you too much all in one throw? I can repeat some.
I hope we can keep this under a minute and a half.
All right.
First of all, part of the reason that we have a surplus too has been the high grain prices that have greatly helped out North Dakota's farmer. And that's a very good thing. That's not a problem. Will those prices stay up? I doubt it. Let's hope so, but life's life, and that's kind of what happens with it. No, we can't always rely on $150 a barrel where it peaked out this summer. I believe it just dropped down to $95 a barrel today. I think we could probably project pretty safely that it would probably stay. Oil is probably not going to dip below $75 a barrel anytime in the near future. With that, I think we should go forward with our projections based upon that dollar amount. That's what all the experts are saying. And then with that in mind, getting to the other part of the question, green energy is one of the forefronts of my campaign and where I see our future going in this state. With how much wind development and other things around, we could utilize it very, very well in this state. I also think we should look into investing in solar energy as far as on our state buildings and on our schools. There's no reason that rooftops can't be covered in solar panels when there's 300 days of sunshine a year in this state. And I think if we gave some of the school districts and such money to go about that, it would go about saving them money and lowering property taxes.
Okay. Next question also comes from the audience, and we'll begin with Mike this time. What is your stance on capping interest rates on student loans? And please support your position. See.
Yes, I absolutely am for capping the interest rates on student loans. As Carol alluded to, House Bill 1401 failed last time around, and I would proudly re-sponsor that and try and get it back. We're in a unique situation in North Dakota. We're the only state in the nation with a state-owned bank, the Bank of North Dakota, and there's no reason why the Bank of North Dakota should make a large portion of its profits off the backs of students who are just working hard to try and improve their lives and give themselves a good opportunity to get a good job. And like I said, I don't think we need to be, the taxpayer does not need to be subsidized by students who are just getting started off with their lives. And I also would like to, go back to the Bank of North Dakota. We should also utilize some of those revenues coming in from the student loan program to start a scholarship fund to lower tuition for our residents in our state. And what else was I going to go here? David just mentioned about how many institutions there are in our state. I do not think we need to close any of these institutions. That would kill some of these small towns, and I am not in favor of shutting down towns like Mayville or Valley City.
Okay, we're going to start with Carol now, and I'd like to know what is your position on measure number 2, which would lower corporate and personal income tax. Casey, what is your response?
I am opposed to measure 2. The big reason why is right now the burden of the taxpayer is on the homeowner. 44% of total taxation collected in the state of North Dakota is from property taxes. Only 18% of the total tax bill is coming from income. And, that's where the disparity lies right now. We can't, if you want to cut income tax, well, what would that do? That drop it down to 9% of total tax bill being on income tax. All right, well, that money's got to get made up from someplace. Where's it going to get made up from? Property taxes. All all right? If you know, I've been in my house now for 5.5 years. My property taxes have gone up roughly about 60% in those 5 years. That's ridiculous. And we can't have any real discussion about property tax relief without talking about adequate school funding for K through 12 education. 50% of our property taxes go to K through 12 education. Now, like I said, if you want to reduce your property tax bill, which I'd love to reduce the property tax bill for everyone in Bismarck, everyone in Burley County, everyone in North Dakota, we got to fund education in order to do it.
Another question now, and this one will begin with Dave. Governor Hoeven, this is from the audience, by the way. Governor Hoeven campaigned to increase funding for education 8 years ago, yet the percentage paid by the state government has decreased. Will you work to change the way education is funded, and if so, how? Would you respond to that, Casey?
Well, first of all, I think education needs to be funded 70% from the state. 30% can be brought in through local sales tax and property taxes. You know, and Dave just talked about how much money has been come in to fund education. Well, that's really not taking into account of inflation, as well as how much money increased bills for each district. You know, Bismarck is growing leaps and bounds, and you know, if it's costing, you know, Bismarck, you know, say $100 more to run their schools next year, and hey, we threw in an extra $15 this year, well, that money, sure, that $15 might be a record amount that we threw in, but it still is not enough. The fact that our teachers are in the national cellar in pay is something we should be ashamed of. We say we value education. Well, we got to value our educators first. When we have teachers, half the teachers leave the profession within their first 5 years to go take a job elsewhere because of better pay. That's not something, like I said, we should be proud of. That's not supporting education, and it's only going to just keep making property taxes go higher if we're not actually going to really fund this from the state level.
Okay.